Good morning. What's up, everybody? Party people in the house. Happy Thursday to everyone. May the 15th. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you're having a fantastic week. We are here once again to talk about your Texas Longhorns as we just try to find good things and good conversational topics to talk about during the off season and the summer stuff. And realistically, we're going to talk about kind of a little bit of the win totals of what could or couldn't happen this upcoming season, based on some things that I saw, based on some Vegas odds that are out there. So we're definitely going to have some conversations about that, not only for the Texas side, but we're going to talk about some of the other sides, other things as well. Kind of as we start to get into kind of shaping our mind as hold on, as I'm just tweeting stuff out. I'm sorry, y'all. Kind of shaping our mind as to what our expectations are going to be going into this season. Again, good morning to everybody who's here in the chat. Appreciate all of y'all. I see y'all out there: Zio, Barg, Sark, Stephanie, Lewis Gaines, my main man LG, of course. Rodolfo is back. Money B. Rodolfo, I asked about you yesterday. I didn't see you yesterday. Figured you might be busy hating on someone, and the hate kind of took up a little bit of your time. But I'm glad to see that you're back today. I did roll call, Rodolfo. You wasn't here. Yesterday we were talking about the kind of grading the experts, right? Kind of grading what their thoughts and expectations were for Texas in the upcoming seasons. We kind of went to their kind of preseason spring projections, right? As far as where they were. And for the majority of those projections that we kind of went through, and if you didn't see the show yesterday, feel free to go back and check it out. Zio_V is here as well. Most of people kind of had Texas in that 1 to 3-ish kind of range, top 5 for the most part. And at the end of the day, your preseason rankings doesn't matter. It really matters once you start getting into the CFP rankings. So now it does help, but that Arizona State wasn't a team that anyone was talking about going into last year. Then at the end of the day, they make the playoffs, right? So there's some wiggle room there. So you don't overreact to where teams are or are not at this moment. But the real question becomes, and good morning, Soto 806, my favorite man out there in Lubbock. I forget what lunch. I went to a breakfast spot in downtown Lubbock several years ago. Wasn't a bad spot, by the way. Forget when it was. Forget what it was called, but it was a good breakfast food. Good breakfast food. Good to see you, Soto. And Chris Bennett, where's my On3 hoodie? Let me tell you about this, Chris. I ain't got one yet. And this hoodie, I feel like I got this thing like 10 years ago. I don't wear it a ton, but I feel like I got this 10 years ago. Catch don't send us no merch. So this is my go and walk it. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. This is my what's up, Nate? This is my I gotta, you'll throw on something to drop the kids off at school, like your morning clothes before you actually put on your real stuff. That's what this is. That's what this has become. It's not yard work clothes, but it's Aaron's clothes. So the question really becomes, and by the way, yeah, you know what, Mark? Hold on. Because you never know what people are going through. Shout out to all the men out there fighting daily battles that no one will ever know. Had a rough week, but cheers to a new day. Hey, Mark, man, I don't know what you're going through at this moment, and I'm sorry to hear that you are having a rough week, man. But just always know, man, today's a new day. It's a new opportunity. Always know that you can't walk forward while looking backwards. If you try to do something like that, you're going to end up tripping. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what obstacles that you're facing. I'm sorry that you're going through it, man. But just always know that they say things happen in life. 3 things happen for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And if it's just for a reason, just know that. If it's just for a season, know that. If it's a lifetime, that's something a little bit different, right? But nonetheless, Mark, just know today's an opportunity for hopefully a new start for you, man. So whatever it is, you don't have to tell everybody, but whatever it is, man, I feel for you. Just know that we're here, and I'm glad that you're here. And don't live in silence. The worst thing you can do is live in silence. Find yourself some good friends and good support system. Okay, man. That's serious. That's serious. I'm serious. I did a lot of stuff with mental health and suicide prevention and things to that effect. And so don't live in silence. That's the worst thing you can do. Find a good person that you can talk to and get through it one step at a time. So thank you for sharing that. You never know how that may impact someone, Mark. So one of the things that you start thinking about, and I saw these odds, is really we start thinking about win totals, right? That's kind of where we are right now. Win totals. Where's Texas going to be from a win total perspective, right? And we go through this range. But I saw these odds that were really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Good morning, the Green Lantern, because I think the majority of us kind of put it in. Thank you, Nate L. Put it in. I'm when you get old like this, you better have some sort of wisdom, Nate. Most of us are. I kind of think we're probably in the 10-win thing, but I saw these odds that came out. And I want to share this with you because I think we can have a really, really good, interesting conversation. And I want to make sure that we did this here correctly. Okay, so this was released through Circus Sports yesterday. And I found the win total and the lines that they're putting out, right? So, by the way, I'm assuming most everybody understands how this thing works. If you don't, these sports books, they lay a line, and then basically you have to basically go over or under, right? So you've got, and they put 9.5. They're expecting you to either say they want you to bet either Texas is going to win 9 games or they're going to win 10 games. And so I found it interesting that they set that line at that 9.5, where that's where they're thinking Texas is somewhere in between that 9 to 10 spot. Now, here's the thing that we don't know that makes it a little bit harder. And listen, I'm not going to go super geeky on this, right? What we don't know is what the money line looks like. Like, we don't know if there's a minus 140 or a plus 120. Basically, that's kind of saying, like, if you bet 100, you get a 140, right? That kind of thing. So we don't know what that sweet spot could look like. But right now they're banking on Texas. You basically betting on if Texas is going to finish with a 9-3 record or 10-2 record, which one would be more likely to occur. And it was interesting because the same thing that you're saying, Text Guy, too, which is 9-3 is not necessarily. Okay, all right, Case, I hear you. Not necessarily the thing that you and I would kind of put on our bingo scorecard, because most of us are trying to talk about that 10-2 kind of record. But it's interesting. So as we look at these three, we see Bama, Georgia, and Texas at this moment. Again, not knowing what the money looks like, right? So we're just going off of face value. Basically being the top 3 teams that they're expecting going into this upcoming season, which is interesting because, Bama's going to have to break in a new quarterback. Georgia's got to break in a new quarterback. And Texas has to break in a new quarterback to a certain degree. But I think we all feel pretty good about where Texas's quarterback versus everybody else. I am sure what they're kind of baking into this is the guys that Texas has to replace. Good morning, Mike Torres. Horrible Austin FC game last night, Mike. So frustrating to lose it, to tie it like that in the end. So frustrating, Mike, but good to see you as well, Mike. Just a horrible ending. So frustrating. Feel bad for Stuber. We'll talk about that later, Mike. So we see those as the top three teams. And I'm sure, like I said, they're baking into all the guys that Texas has to break in this upcoming season. The new guys at the receiver position, the new guys at the tight end position, the new guys, really everywhere. Seeing where that is as far as Arch is concerned, seeing where the new defensive line is concerned. You feel good about the linebackers. You lose a Jade, you lose a Makuba. We feel pretty good about what that is, but it really boils down to me that one of those things that I keep thinking about in the off season. It's kind of like you ever look to yourself and say like, man, something's so good. Is this too good to be true? Am I missing something? Right? When something just seems like this is going to happen for sure, then you always say, man, am I missing something at all? I don't know, right? So we'll talk Texas in a second. You can see the rest of what it looks like as far as some of the thought process. You got LSU at 8.5, Ole Miss at 8.5, Tennessee at 8.5, Auburn and A&M. Those are interesting ones because would you take A&M at 9 wins this upcoming season, or would you project them to be around 7? The Florida one, I definitely would take the more on that one. I think Florida will be better this season. So I'd look when they lay in 7.5 for Florida. I probably would go a little bit higher with the Florida one. The Oklahoma one is very, very interesting for all the OU fans. Stoopsify, it's not in here, or sometimes he's lurking. Opinion Sports Show. I mean, they've got Oklahoma around that 7 spot. That means maybe 8, but 6 is right there. So they really got Oklahoma pegged into, somewhere in that 7-win category, which is fascinating there. Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Mississippi State. Luckily for Texas, those teams are on the schedule. Kentucky being at home as well, traveling to Mississippi State, Vanderbilt being at home, and Arkansas being at home. So 3 of those 4 at home. Hey, no problems. No problems. Ain't that the truth, Mike Torres? And let's go through. Let's check this out, Mike. That was Mike. Were you at the game last night? By the way, buddy, I didn't seem like there was a lot of people there. But were you at the game? Mike Torres is a huge Austin FC fan. We're just having some conversations on the side, and then let's just go through it. If they're putting Texas at that that 9.5-ish kind of thing. I mean, then your 3 potential losses on the schedule is Ohio State, Georgia, and then you just throw in someone else as a possibility, right? If we're going on that 9-win thought process, does Oklahoma just get lucky in one season? Is A&M a better team than we thought, right? You could look at, okay, Ohio State, Georgia. I don't think any of us would blink if that happened. Frustrating. The other ones would be, okay, who came out of there? Now, if there was 10-2, then again, Ohio State's the only one that we look at and we probably say coin flip at this moment, right? Even with Arch, it's on the road, first game of the season. Who knows what happens there, right? And we know Georgia, for the last season they had Texas's number. It may or may not happen this year, but it's interesting as we start doing the math. And here's a tricky part about this exercise. There's a tricky part about this exercise. There's going to be a team that's potentially, we look at on paper now and we say not good, and then they could be better than expected. Like Vandy came out of nowhere last year. I mean, they started off hot. Now they sure as hell cooled down. Damn. Didn't Vandy start off 5-0, if I'm correct? They started off 5-0 and they finally got 1 win. I know Pavia got hurt, but I think Vandy started off that hot. That yes, I feel like they started off that hot because I had the argument. I remember arguing with the guys on the staff when we would do our rankings. Like they, hey, I'm just ranking them on where they are this week, not where I think they'll be in a few weeks from now. And of course, Vandy cooled off, and that was kind of end of it. But they did become bowl eligible, surpassing them. So maybe there's a team in here that gets hot. I don't think Kentucky's that. I don't think Mississippi State's going to do that. I mean, I think Arkansas is just Arkansas, and they'll be at home. Texas A&M. Maybe that's a tricky game, and that wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Even though I would, there's probably an argument to be made that the way Texas defense played at Texas A&M with the score, maybe you would can somewhat argue that. But I think the tricky game is as we look at it, is probably Florida. Now, look, last year I said the tricky game would be Kentucky, and I could not have been more wrong. I thought Brock Vandagriff would be much better than he was. I didn't realize that he was going to be trash, and because he was trash, now I feel bad because he. Pavia is back. I know he's sued or something to be back, and I'm pretty sure that he's back until further notice. So again, we're seeing that, and the only bad part about the schedule, honestly, the only bad part about the schedule is from August until October. There's not much there. I'll be honest. One of the things we'll probably talk about a little bit tomorrow, and I feel for you guys as fans, is from a home slate standpoint. San Jose, UTEP, Sam Houston. You've got, and then there's not much left. You got Vandy at home, you got Arkansas at home, you got A&M at home. Like, it's not. It's. Whew. I don't see a lot of walk-ups, but nonetheless. Okay, so there's that. So we'll go back to this. So that's where we're at. So we're looking at Alabama, Georgia, and Texas being kind of the top teams in the conference. Tell me in the chat. Tell me what you feel like is the best bet. If you had the best bet for over or under based off of what we're seeing in the SEC, which way would you go? Which way would you lean in there? But it also makes me very measured. I would say I'm looking at Texas probably like at 10-2. I believe in Arch. I believe in this team. I believe in this defense. But I do know there's a lot of new moving parts and things can happen. Now, look, if they beat Ohio State in the season opener, I would love to readjust my predictions. And I think, hell, maybe they do finish 11-1. But 9-3, while realistic, as someone pointed out in the chat, that would be definitely kind of disappointing. Let's go to some other conferences, though. Let's kind of check some other conferences out and see what some of these other conferences are. Now, this one is a fascinating one here. And Soto says, I will be at the Sam Houston State game, at least hoping for a night game that day. Hey, man, they're sold out. So, you should be able to get a ticket, though. So you should be able to get a ticket. Let's look at the conference that we left, that we were once in. Good morning, Barbs. And look at what's there. And as we kind of did our preseason looks yesterday, this kind of falls in line to some of the things that we were talking about. Arizona State, K-State, and Texas Tech with 8.5. That the tough one is Arizona State. Can Arizona State get to 9? Whew, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like without Scatterboo. But they still have some guys coming back. And then Kansas State, can they get to 9? Tech, can they get to 9? Like, those are interesting ones right there. And then you're looking at Baylor, BYU, Iowa State, all these teams that are lumped in there. It's crazy. Here's my question for y'all. Colorado. If I had to give you $1,000 and I said, look, I need you. I need this pick to hit, or I don't know. I just need it. Now, Casey's talking about spiritual warfare and stuff, so I got to make sure I don't put anything bad out there in the atmosphere, right? So I just need this for whatever reason, right? Casey, don't worry about it. It's all good. I grew up in the church, so you're more than fine here. Are you going the over, or are you going the under as relates to Colorado? Do you think Colorado, with all the hype that they're going to get throughout the year, are you giving Colorado 7 wins without Shador? Or are you just saying to yourself, because less than that, Colorado's not bowl eligible. Arizona's in there, UCF is in there, Oklahoma State. Golly, what a drop off for Oklahoma State. Y'all remember when it wasn't that long ago we were trying to figure out, okay, how does Texas get past Mike Gundy? And right now, they're considered to be one of the worst teams in the league. In West Virginia, they've always kind of had been kind of hit or miss. And in this era of NIL, there's going to be more misses than anything else. So that one was there. Let's go to the Big Ten. Now this is the fascinating one, because this goes back to some of our things that we were talking about yesterday. Make sure you check yesterday's show by the way if you haven't. Because now this is where the odds makers are saying this is the conference. This is the conference, because we didn't get higher than 9.5 in the SEC. But we got 3 teams at that 10 spot where they're saying Ohio State could win 11, Oregon could win 11, and then you got Penn State, at that potential, 9 to 10, 9 to 11 as well. Rather, actually, Oregon State, at 10 or 11. Oregon State, Ohio State at 10 or 11, Oregon at 10 or 11, and Penn State at 9 or 11. This is where we know that, okay, well, this is the conference that we definitely got to keep an eye on this year, especially as relates to the college football playoff conversation. Then we followed by Indiana, which would be a little bit of a drop off for them. Michigan. And you can see where everybody else is in there. I don't have to read them all off. USC and Lincoln Riley. Ugh. They're gonna struggle. I was thinking. I was talking to a non-UT coach this morning. This one of the reasons I was a couple of minutes late, and they were saying like, "Hey, look, this was randomly. We were talking about NIL, and they said, look, the USC is going to struggle in NIL because of that state income tax." They were like, "No, it's hard. It's true. Like, it's hard to go out to USC and know you got to get taxed on that." I don't know if there's ways around it, but I know that's got to be hard. So it's going to be a struggle for them. They may get a couple guys here and there, but you get that money taken out of your paycheck. And I know there's a lot of people who relocated from California to the great state of Texas because of that. So there's that. And then there's a bunch of other teams that none of you guys really care about, unless there's a real Purdue fan out there. And props to you for whatever reasons you might like Purdue. And then here becomes the very intriguing conference. Very intriguing conference. We know the Cade Klubnik fan club is out there. We know the Cade Klubnik fan club is out there. We know Ketch is the president of it. But they got Notre Dame sitting there at that 10 spot, followed by Clemson. So how much do you believe in Clemson enough? Do you believe in Clemson enough to think that they get to 10? Followed by the Miami and Louisville, and then SMU up there. There's a part of me that would love to romanticize SMU really getting to 9 or so. Like, there's a part. Let me look up SMU's schedule real quick though. Let me look up SMU's schedule. It's funny. My son went to a SMU soccer camp last year. And just so you know, like, I like to wear hoodies. I don't know, just it's very comfortable for me. I wear hoodies, especially when I travel on planes. The worst thing when you travel on a plane, just sidebar, there's nothing worse than getting on a plane and it's one of those cold ass planes where they've got the thermostat set at meat locker. You ever get on a plane like that and it's like 60 degrees in the damn plane? So I always dress warm when I get on planes. I don't care. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. It's the worst. 3-hour flight. You got shorts, a t-shirt on, and it's like 63 in that damn plane. Anyway, I'll always do that. I like that Barb says, by the way, my take: Ohio State and Notre Dame will win 9, Oregon 10 at best. Interesting. So I'm going through SMU's schedule right now. So they open with East Texas A&M, so that's 1. Baylor's 2. Missouri State should be 3. TCU, I'm going to give them that, even though it's at TCU. I'm going to give them that 4. Syracuse, I'm going to give them 5. Stanford 6. Not Clemson. Wake Forest 7. Not Miami. Boston College is tricky. But let's say I give them Boston College, that would be 8. Louisville, potentially 9, and then they're at Cal. I like SMU at 9. I'll be honest with you. I do like SMU at 9. I like SMU at 9. I do like that. Now, Boston win like 3, but I like SMU at 9. Florida State, how the mighty have fallen. Golly, just a few years ago, they're competing for a national title. The quarterback gets hurt, and it's just that program has not been right ever since then. Duke, Pitt, Virginia. I look at it as any team that we care about. None. There's not a single team that we care about. And Stanford, golly, at 3. All the talk about Andrew Luck. All right. I'm not going to do it today. But all the talk, okay, I am. All the talk about Andrew Luck, and they hired in a GM over there, and what's that going to look like? Because does Texas have a GM, and blah blah blah? And it's like, yeah, all right, well, one GM's team is competing for a national championship, and the other one would be grateful if they were bowl eligible. Ooh. By the way, Mark Anthony says, help me out. In California, if you earn over $1 million, the tax rate is 13.3%. Oh my gosh. And so that's Mark. That's the state, and that's before the feds hit you as well. So then, Mark, if you already got that, so get Mark, just break it down for us real quick, Mark. You seem to have this math. So break it down. If someone received $1 million and they wanted to go to school in California, Mark, tell us how much money that person would actually take back after taxes. Give it, since you're or somebody else who's into accounting or numbers or something like that. Somebody else give us a little bit of a breakdown as far as that is concerned. And Mark's really into taxes, by the way. He said even Michigan has a 4.2% income tax. Yeah, that part is true. Now, first of all, Nate, let's just be clear. I have never had a Kanye moment. Okay, you cannot compare. Listen, Nate. All due respect, Nate. Let's never compare Unc to anything Kanye related. Are we clear on that, Nate? I know your intent is clear, but Kanye is on a different level. Okay, like that. There are some things that Kanye has talked about recently that I prefer not to be put in the same sentence with him, Nate. I'm just asking, can you give me another comparison? I'm just not like there's anything wrong with it, but just put Unc in a just don't do that. Golly, is there anybody else too, by the way? I feel like I got Diddy trial fatigue at this moment. Is there anybody else who is at the point where they're saying, I don't think I need to know anything else? I'm literally at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm tapped out. I don't need to know anything else. I'm good. I need to get my Twitter algorithm in check. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't. There's just it's just too much. It's too much to process. It's too much overload. I just can't. I can't. I'm tapped out on week one. I'm tapped out. I can't. 50 Cent with his joke. I'm just tapped out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor. Do not research it. Do not research it. Listen to your Do not put Diddy in you. It's too much. It's too much. I don't need to know anything else, man. I don't know. I'm tired of my friends sending me stuff. I'm good on it. I don't want to know more about astroglides. I don't want to know about rubbing anything on anyone's body. I'm good. Okay. Anyway, that's where we're at. Sorry, I had to get that. I was wanted to say off my chest, but I don't even want to say that at this moment. I'm getting off the show. Y'all are good. I hope all is well. Y'all take care of yourself. And again, no, for on a serious note, just going back out to Mark Anthony, whatever it is, Mark Anthony, that you're going through. Hopefully today is a new day for you. And you're like, hey Mark, just if by any chance you're going through some toughness and you just need someone to just shout out, just email me, nflonward@yahoo.com. Easy way, we can always chat. Okay, we can always chat off to the side. Thank you for the numbers. He goes, by the way, so Mark says if you earn $1 million, you pay $133,000 in tax. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Specs. Y'all go do what you need to do. I'm gonna get this walk in before the sun becomes 105 today. Y'all take. By the way, you think UT is 10.5? No. Text guy, you must have joined the show late. No. Hold on. Right here, text guy, just in case you missed it and you joined the show late. This is what the numbers look like. Okay. Just in case you joined the show a little bit late, I saw you putting stuff there. Maybe I'm commenting the wrong thing, but you got Texas at 9.5. You got Oklahoma down there at 7. Just in case you missed it, that's what those numbers look like. All right. So you're at a 9.5 as opposed to a 10.5. David and Text Guy and stuff like that. So hopefully everyone's good. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, but just hit the like the video, share it if you want to. If not, don't worry about it. I have plenty of things for you guys to share soon enough. And y'all take care. Remember what I always say, live each day like it was your last. One day it will be. Thanks for everybody who put a prayer request in for my mom. She had a little setback yesterday and had to keep her in the hospital, but she looks like she's doing good today and looks like she's going to get released today. So all is good. Well, so thank you for those who sent out prayers, positive energies, whatever it was. I do appreciate it. Looks like she'll be going home today. So thank you guys. All right, y'all take care.